ETFSA has done a survey just recently of the top performing collective investment schemes. A collective investment scheme is a unit trust or an exchange traded fund over the past 10 years. And we've said, well, what are the best funds? In other words, what are the top sort of gold medal funds or the silver medal funds over that 10-year period? Now, you would expect that unit trusts, because they're active managers and they actually go and select the top performing shares, and they get mandated on their ability to outperform the market, would have the top funds. Now, the amazing thing is that that's not the case. If you look at the top performers over periods of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years and 10 years, you'll see that in 3 of those years, the top performer was an exchange traded fund, and in all the other years, the second best performer was an exchange traded fund. So what we've got is that simple exchange traded funds which just track an index. They don't try and outperform the market, they just give you the performance of the market. They exactly replicate the performance of the market, and the index is the average return of the market. That all the unit trusts out there can't outperform the average return of the market. So if you're saying, well, I want to have the top performing funds, let me have the best, just buy an ETF. Well, the one that stands out, if you look at all those periods, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, so that's 6 time periods. Only one fund has been in the top 5 in all those 6 periods, and that's the Satrix Indy 25, and that tracks the industrial index. So it's a portfolio of 25 shares that are purely industrial shares. There's no mining shares, no financial shares, and that has been the top performer in some of those years. And if it's not the top performer, it's always amongst the top 5 or the second best performer. So it's really been a top performer, and consistently. No other fund has managed to do that over a 10-year period. So what's the best product on the market? Satrix Indy 25. It's very simple. And the numbers indicate that. What does this mean for the investor? Because most investors say, listen, I want to go out and buy a top performer. Everybody says, listen, I want to be in the best. And everybody would assume that the best would be unit trusts, which have the mandate to outperform the index. Unit trusts spend a lot of time and money telling people how great they are. They have their awards, their Raging Bull Awards, their best performers, etc., etc. They exclude ETFs. They never put ETFs into these awards. Yet here you have the best performing fund, or ETFs, simple, low cost, easy to understand, trade in the stock exchange, available to everybody, can be bought through any stockbroker or through a platform like ETFSA. So if you want the best, buy the ETFs. If one looks at performance, what you do when you measure in the industry, you measure performance after costs, after the total expense ratio of running products. What you don't look at is how much it costs me to get that product. In other words, I've got to buy it through a broker, or I've got to buy it through a financial advisor, or I have to buy it off a platform. We can't take those costs into account because those costs vary. It depends which broker and which platform you use. But all the performance numbers are done after costs, and they include reinvestment of all dividends. And it's a normal basis that you measure performance across the board using the same methodology. And I think what you're looking at now is a situation where in South Africa we've got to face up to the fact that it's very hard to outperform an index in South Africa. The market's very narrow, it's small. There's only about 50 or 60 shares that really matter in South Africa that trade a lot, that can really affect performance in big portfolios. And you can buy all those products in an ETF. I think as the market becomes more conducive to looking at the important things that matter, performance, costs, accessibility, I think ETFs are starting to really show their performance and show their superiority in all those categories. What ETFSA has done is it said, let's look at the 1 year performance data, all the top performers. There's more than 1,000 unit trusts and ETFs, and 2 years and 3 years and 5 years and 7 years and 10 years. And are any funds in the top 5 performers in all of those periods? And there's only one, that's the Satrix Indy. No other unit trust or other product in South Africa consistently performs at the peak. Now, as an investor, man in the street, big investor, small investor, I want consistency. And that's what really you're getting. So that Satrix Indy has been an outstanding product